Hello, everyone, and welcome to Disney Magic Podcast, a fun new Disney podcast hosted by a British guy. I'm your host, Zach Campbell, and you can join me every other week for magical stories, amazing guests, intriguing history, and overall a trip down Main Street, USA. From Disney parks to a galaxy far, far away, we'll be talking all things Disney and just how magical it is. Get ready for this episode because it's starting in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to a brand new episode here of the Disney Magic Podcast. I am, of course, your Zach, your host Zach. Oh my gosh, feels like I've not recorded it forever. Oh my days. But welcome along. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Welcome to episode 25 of the podcast. And yeah, today I have a super special guest. We have Infamous or Roger on the pod. I'm going to be talking all things Disney architecture, as you can tell from the title. We're going to be touching on some park architecture, some surrounding area architecture that Disney was inspired to create, or even created themselves. And we're just going to see where the conversation goes. I am super excited to talk about this. It's something I've been wanting to do for a little while. And yeah, let's get into it. Also, don't judge me. I'm wearing my pajamas because it is like 9:30 at night. So no judging. We're not having judging here, but it is Deadpool. So, you know, accounting for something. I needed to, I wanted to be comfy. I didn't want to wear something uncomfortable. So we're wearing something comfortable. They're fluffy, they're warm, and it's late. So anyhow, we're late night with Zach. That's what we're doing. Anyhow, let's get Roger on and let's get this party started. Here we go. Hello, Roger. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm
good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for being here. Like, I'm super excited. I've just said, like, I'm super excited to talk about this topic. It's something that obviously we all know about as in the Disney community and stuff like that, but I don't think it's ever been touched upon on like or like from what I've seen. I mean, it probably has, but like, hey, I wanted to do it, so I thought you were the man to do it because you have been helping me with a little project, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you're probably
the audio is cutting in and out.
Oh, is it? Oh no. Okay. Seems okay my end.
I got it. I think I've got it.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I'm super excited. Now, you're probably the furthest person away to be any sort of like Disney fan.
Yeah.
So for you to be here, it's gonna be interesting.
You actually were the one. You actually were the one who made me curious about Disney World, to be honest.
Well, you know, that's what we do. We provide.
You hit that one right on the nose.
No, but man, it's super cool to have you here, and you know, we've been talking a little bit in DMs, and we were talking. I feel like every stream we do, it somehow comes to some sort of topic of Disney and everything like that. So I feel like to be here and have like a specific kind of like topic that I feel like we're both interested in, it is going to be quite cool. So obviously we're talking about the architecture of Disney, kind of like Disney buildings, Disney properties and things like that. More so in the parks, which I feel is like where the creativity kind of like sparks more than usual, outside of like anywhere else, I feel. And we'll touch on that because they do like they've done hotels, or they've had hotels where they've like had their input to like build and things like that. But specifically where everything comes from is like old school Disney, and that, you know, those things are still standing to this day like pretty much unscathed and unchanged. So it's exciting to see. I'm super excited to to go through this kind of this topic and just see, you know, where it goes, and super excited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you just want to just like introduce yourself a little bit as well, and just let everyone know here who's going to be listening, who you are, what you do, and you know how you became interested in this particular topic that we're going to be talking about.
Sure, yeah, I can do it. My real name is Roger Hanson. I have a gamer name. It's infamous OG1973. I use my YouTube channel for the gaming is Gaming with Infamous, and that's where I met you, Zach, and that's what I went by. And other than that, I've besides gaming, I also do other channels. One's called the Praetorian, and then I have another one, Stranger Things, which is all my weird stuff. Yeah. So that and from that I ended up hooking up with another guy who is a gamer. It's Old John, and I would say his name, but you know,
yeah,
that's his gamer name, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But he had a channel called Wonderful World of Weirdness that he recently turned over to me, so I'm doing Wonderful World of Weirdness now. And then I'm also helping out with Home Away from YouTube with Zach, which he has, and it's an excellent Discord for anybody who's listening. So, I HansonOnlines.com and Rumble as well as YouTube. So I've got my hand in a lot of different things.
You'll have it's if you want someone online, Roger's there, man. This guy does not swear. Like he's hooked up on coffee and
coffee and freaking porn. Sorry, did I say that? I apologize. I promised I wouldn't do that too. I said I'm going to be nice because this is Disney set up, and I even asked if it was safe to have me on here because I really don't know. Okay.
No, you did, and you're good. You're good. Don't you worry. It's
okay. But that's basically the breakdown for me.
Nice. So yeah, me and Roger have known each other for, gosh, how long? About
at least 2-3 years. Two or 3 years. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I didn't realize that, like, in the gaming community, you were the coolest dude that freaking I'm gonna meet. Like, out of, you know what I mean? Like, freaking people don't even realize how cool you are, dude.
Okay,
like that just blows me out of the water, man. Like, yeah.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I really do. That's kind of you to say, man. Like, I'm just being me. Like, that's all you can be in it, you know. You know, just be yourself. You know, be one with yourself. That's all you can do. But yeah, man. Like me and Roger have known each other for a while, and we've been in talks for a little while of doing a little project together. As you all know, because I don't shut up about it. I'm going away. I'm going to Disney World this year. And Roger has been helping me with an intro to create like the Disney World castle, to create Cinderella's castle, and you know it's incredible, man. It's insanely cool. It's like 3D rendered. It's beautiful. It's so cool to see, and it's just ace. It really is. And honestly, I can't even thank you enough for the work that you've put into it. It's incredible. It really is. So I just want to say a huge thank you for that. I know I've said it so many times, but like, man, it's just incredible how cool it looks.
Every time you say it, though, I start blushing, and I'm feeling warm inside, because man, I was like, to be honest, I should be the one thanking you because I never in my life thought that the coolest thing I would do with computer graphics is freaking make Cinderella Castle. I mean, that just blows me out of the water to this day.
I mean,
It,
it's beautiful, man. It's just a gorgeous structure. It really is.
yeah, and I think if people who are like Disney fans really stop and focused on that castle,
Yeah.
they would see something that is completely amazing. Like the people who put time and effort into that castle did it with love. You know what I mean?
100%, 100%. And like I said in the intro, like this, these structures that we see. I mean, this castle has been standing since 1971, since day opening, October 1st, 1971 in Orlando, and it's been there for over 50 years now, and it still looks as beautiful as ever. It's pretty much unchanged by like a couple of color schemes and we've and anniversaries and things like that, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. Like there's been no real renovations to it that I know of, and I mean it's just a fantastic piece of just architecture. It's just beautiful. It really does just be like, yes, this is Disney. This is Disney World. This is what people come to see, and I think this is a good way to lean into the topic. So I've got a little bit of information here. So the Cinderella's Castle was conceptualized by a Imagineer called Herbert Dickens Ryman. He was the artist that created the artwork for the original Disney theme park. So that included the Sleeping Beauty Castle as well. And as you know, it stands at 199 feet tall, which is like 56 meters. And it was completed in 1971, and it's been there ever since. Again, it's one of the most recognizable symbols in Disney. It's the castle that they use at the beginning of every Disney animation, with Cinderella flying over with like every movie. That's Cinderella Castle as well. It's been part of the logo since 1985, so it's stood the test of time, and it's still to this day just one of the most beautiful things ever. Now, looking at the pictures I've got here, I mean it's wonderful. It really is. But like. And I mean, if you guys, if you're watching or you're just listening along, I urge you to look onto the screen in just a couple of minutes, because if Roger wants to, of course, I will be putting kind of like his rendering on the screen as well, of what he's worked on so far. And honestly, I can't stress enough that it's impressive. It really is impressive. I mean, you're still working on it now. So what was your process in making that? Was it difficult? Was it fairly easy once you had like the base, the foundation? Like what's the process been like to create something like that?
You should see the look on my face, like right now when you ask that question, because like I've got, when you puff your cheeks up and you kind of like pull your lips in.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you said, like setting up the basics and the thing, and I don't think that's possible with Cinderella Castle, because like, especially if you don't have any idea what you're doing, okay? And like we said in the beginning, I have no knowledge of Disney World whatsoever.
Yeah.
This was new for me. And what I had to do is I had to pull up a picture that, or actually, you gave it to me as a reference from DisneyFoodBlog.com. So I used that as a reference with an overview of from Google Maps of what Cinderella Castle looked like, and the cool part was on Google Maps it even shows you like the castle stage and Cinderella Castle and all the Cinderella royal table and stuff like that. So I kind of knew where everything was there.
That's good. Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't have any clue about what the inside of the castle looked like.
Yeah.
So like past the walls. Okay. Well, before I get to this part, let me also say like the animation itself is built off of kind of like a stage preview. Like it's not an actual model of the castle. So I had to set everything in place to where it at least looked like the castle.
Yeah.
And I did try to get it as close as I could, but I just I don't know, maybe somebody else can do it, but I cannot like get it precise to the way it looks. It is that spectacular.
Yeah.
But that's how I started on it. I did a top view, and then I did a forward view of what the castle looked like, and then I had to create the towers, and I probably messed up there. I should have started somewhere else, but that's where I ended up starting.
Yeah.
And even though I did start with the towers first, I think that it actually came out pretty cool. You know, I tried to keep each tower, or actually I tried to keep the castle itself as close to what it would be if you went to Disney World. You know what I mean? I know, because I noticed in a lot of the other animations and the view or the renders, people kind of put their own artistic view on it, but I wanted to try to make it look as close to it as I possibly could, and I couldn't get it 100%, but I did it that way, and I really like it. I even tried to make the towers as close to height from one another as I could too. So I added flags on top of it and made them yellow.
Nice.
And then I when I was doing that, the thing that stood out to me, and I asked you about it, was that when it comes to these towers, was the roof and its architecture.
Yeah.
And that's when you told me about the guy you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And so that was cool with me. Now the guy, what was his name again?
Dickens. Herbert Dickens Ryman.
Yeah. So I believe earlier we discovered he's a German architecture tech, right?
He's not German, but it was based. Cinderella's Castle is based off a German, like, architecture. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what stood out to me on the tower roofs, is because if you take a look at the roofs, they aren't symmetrical. Like, they don't go straight up into a, I guess, triangular or a cone shape.
Yeah. The more they're angled, aren't they, like jagged?
It's amazing to me. Whenever that was the first thing I noticed about them, was like it goes in and then it goes up.
Yeah.
And it meets up like a witch's hat.
Yeah.
And for me, that takes me back to what I was getting into when it comes to like one of those different topics that I'm always obsessed in. I love history, you know, and it talks about Indo-European architecture, where the roofs of these towers, they look like little witches' hats.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that, like, Indo-European is where the old tradition of those witches hats that you always see on witches.
Yeah.
That's where that came from, because they used to wear it like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's cool. I know that Europeans have a lot of like weird like things. We're strange over here.
Mm-hmm. It reflects in their architecture too. Like if you look at a lot of the Eastern European architecture of old castles and stuff, they kind of put that into the way they do their towers on their castles.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was one of the first things that stuck out to me. So have I babbled enough so far? I can go on further later on, but
no, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Don't you worry, mate. Yeah, like I say, this castle is just it's superior. It really is. It's so impressive that they took that, that idea and kind of made it like, even though you know obviously you've got the inspiration, they've gone and made it their own, which is one of the best things. You've not just like copied and pasted it. Like you think of a castle, you think of Disney, you think of Cinderella's castle, you think of Sleeping Beauty's castle, you think of those iconic places. And this has been a staple for 50 plus years now within the park, and it's just like, yes, this embodies the whole idea of the Magic Kingdom. This is where the princesses live, and this is cool to see, and just the inspiration it took from like the German architecture and everything like that, but gave it its own twist and things like that, which is funny actually, because it's not Cinderella that's actually German, it's Snow White that's German.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Snow White's German. I think Cinderella is. Where's Cinderella from? I can't think where Cinderella's from. I want to say around that area. I want to say around that area, but not German. And that's another video idea I want to get. I want to probably do at some point as well, like the origins of the Disney princesses and where they come from and all that kind of stuff, because it's really interesting to like where they are based and things.
Let me also point out something too. I did say Indo-European, so like when you say Indo-European, you're not just talking about Germany either, because like it stretched from Germany all the way around the Black Sea and the Baltic Sea, down into Turkey and stuff. So you've got a whole lot of territory there and plus into Russia too. Mongolia.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was a tradition that spans across a great area of land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and down into Iran, I think too.
Oh wow, that's a lot of space. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I would love to hear more about that when you do your podcast. So remember to let me know when you come out with that, because I think that would be pretty cool to know. That was the first thing that stuck out in my head when I was doing this, and it really got me attached to the structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was what really caught my eye.
Yeah. No, it's one thing that really catches me as well is those. Those turrets, the kind of like not cylindrical, not like the just the way they're sat. It's just impressive. It's just beautiful. It really is. You come up with better words than me. Like that's the thing that I like, is because like you're saying it all smooth and suave and stuff, and I'm not good with words. I love how you just said that. I'm surprised I'm good with words, Roger, at like 10 to 10 at night. Like, bloody hell. But yeah, man, it's a park icon. It's just beautiful. It really is. And I want to move on to the next park icon, which I think is just is just as iconic over at over at Epcot in Disney World, and that is the. Now everyone calls it either if you're not a Disney fan, you call it the giant golf ball, and it is.
Oh yeah, that's what I call it.
It's a giant golf ball, but this thing is home of Spaceship Earth, and that is the official name of it. It is Spaceship Earth. And inside this beautiful, magnificent ball is a ride that tells the whole story of communications from all the way from the beginning up until like now and potentially in the future. Like what could we see? Where could we see communications and technology go and all that kind of stuff? And it's a fun ride. But what makes this impressive is if you look at pictures, it stood on 4 legs. And when Disney were like proposed to make this, it was like, no, we want a ride in this. This needs to be like propped up. How are we gonna do that? So the way that it's made is, this isn't, no, that's what I put out there. This is not the first one that was ever created, but it is the first one of its kind, being a geodesic dome. It was created by the Wallace Floyd Design Group for 1982, and it's saying here that it has a similar structure to the United States Pavilion at Expo 67 in Montreal. But unlike the early pavilion, this is a complete sphere. No, it's the whole ride is encased inside this, and the bottom half of it is one half, and then it's literally like the other half is like stuck on top. So then it looks like, it's a complete one. It's impressive. It is very, very impressive. And the fact that it houses a ride as well is just super cool. It really is. Again, this is just a park icon. It really is. And yeah, it does look like a giant golf ball. I mean, this is one of those things that's like, it's one of the things that you first look at, and it's like, yeah. Like, before I knew the name of it, I was like, yeah, that's a giant golf ball. Like, why? And then I grew to appreciate it because it's just a fantastic ride. But yeah, it's super cool. It really, really is cool. I think you'd appreciate it. I think if I send this picture to you, I think you'll very much appreciate this picture. And I'll save it, and I'll stick it on screen as well and everything like that. But I will.
Now can I let your viewers know the truth?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so after all the magnificent things Zach just said to you, okay, let's just everybody understand there's 2 things that Zach likes in his life. One of them is freaking Disney World, which everybody knows. But the second thing that Zach likes is golf.
It is.
Okay, so just understand that, like, as he's speaking, freaking, and he's saying this stuff, freaking, the thing that sticks out to him is golf. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. First thing, guys.
When he got interested in, it looked like a golf ball.
Yeah. It does look like a golf ball.
That's just my take, Zach. That's it.
Absolutely fine, man. Absolutely fine. I'll happily take that. It is. It's honestly, it's one of the first things I thought of was like,
it's too coincidental.
Yeah.
And you love golf.
Yeah.
It's too coincidental.
It is. You're very right. And it is very coincidental that Epcot is like my...
You muted me, didn't you?
No. I heard bits of it. It was cutting out a little bit, but I'll try and figure that out. I don't know why it's
Let me
doing that.
see here.
Dang technology. I don't understand. But no,
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is. But it is not a coincidence that Epcot is like my second favorite park, and it purely one reason is Spaceship Earth, and just the whole ride itself. But the other reason is it's heavily based on what Disney call edutainment. So the rides at Epcot are more, or they were, if you go to the right places, they are educational like rides. So one of them is called Living with the Land. Spaceship Earth is classed as an edutainment ride. It teaches you like the history of like communications and things like that. There's another ride called Living with the Land, which is just fantastic. It's just a nice, easy 15-minute boat ride where you're just learning about plants and nature and all that kind of stuff. It's very cool. It's just a nice chill ride. And then you've got stuff like, nowadays, you've got stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which is a like a roller coaster. It's an omni coaster, so it's the ride system itself moves to like take you to various points that it wants you to focus on in the ride. There's what else is there? There's a Frozen ride, Frozen Ever After, in the Norway Pavilion. There's a Ratatouille ride in the France Pavilion. I mean, I've not ridden any of those, but like, I'm just there for the edutainment. One thing I'm looking forward to in Epcot is the Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, which is like a walkthrough attraction, but it teaches you like about the life cycle of water. It's all interactive and stuff, and it looks pretty cool. But getting off topic, this dome, man, this Epcot is beautiful. It really is. It's very cool to have that, and to see that in person is just very, very cool. It really is. But yeah, where are we at now? I'm trying to think now. For these next ones, I am going to save these because I want to share these with you, Roger, as well. How many more is there? There are.
You're gonna give me like the whole library of goodies, aren't you?
Yeah, you can have a oh, this is another one as well.
I'm fine with it.
We will have that as well. Now, these next ones that I'm going to send you is from a place. Now, to understand these next couple, there's a little bit of history. We're having a history little session here as well. Which one is it? That one. So them three there are from a town called Celebration. Now, Celebration is about 20 minutes away from Disney. It's eastbound on the I-4, which is like the main interstate to get into Disney World. Now, the thing about Celebration is it was a Disney town. It was a portion of Florida on Disney property, controlled by Disney, and they wanted to create a town for cast members and people who were visiting, like family and big time executives and things like that. And they wanted and the portion of that was going to be that the majority of it was going to be a place for people who wanted to live the kind of like Disney lifestyle as such. and they own the land. They own the town for a good. I want to say about a year before it all went downhill. And the reason it went downhill is because the government was like, no, you don't own this land. Like, this land is owned by the bank. It's owned by the government. Blah blah blah. So instead of trying to fight it, they was like, right, fine, we'll just sell it off. But we've built Celebration here. We've built this town. It was like, yeah, it's fine. It's owned by the state now. You guys don't own it. So it was like, all right, fair enough. And then the way they created it, so it was created by Disney Imagineers. It was created by, the architectures that built the parks and, all that kind of stuff. It was built by the people who built the parks, built the rides, all that kind of stuff. Now, these 3 pictures that I've sent you and that we're going to see on screen just a sec is the Celebration movie theatre, which is no longer available. It's been closed for about 10 years now. But that is like a staple there. It's like one of the main things you see when you're in Celebration. This one here, this one at the bottom with like the stairs and things, is their town hall. Which is like where all the official stuff goes and all that kind of stuff. And then the next one, the circle building, is their post office. Now, all of these are like pretty much next to each other, but inside of this like area, they've got their own like main street, which is like housed to like little shops and little like small businesses and all that kind of stuff. They have a farmer's market every weekend. They have all sorts, and it's just beautiful. It's just, if you could put Disney in a town, this is exactly what it would be. This is exactly what it would be. Like, this is like if you could live in a Disney movie or a Disney program, that Celebration is it. And it's the biggest go-to place for like anyone who's outside of the parks, for anyone who's like a Disney fan. And it's just a piece of history that I feel not many, it doesn't really get talks about as much. I mean, it was a big topic a few years ago, but I feel like since then no one really talks about it because it's all been said and done. It's a cool concept, but the thing that's special about Celebration is every house is different, because they was like, right, what we'll do is we'll make every house different, unique, so there's not one house that looks exactly the same. You know on some streets you get like houses that are like rows and rows of like the same kind of style of house.
Yeah.
With Celebration, it's not like that. Every house is unique. Like, every house is a completely different kind of like architectural like structure compared to the next one. Like, your next door neighbor could live in like a mini mansion and you could be living in like a castle, something that looks like a castle. It's just so cool to put that in and process that and just be like, yes, this is cool. It's very cool to see. And you've got to appreciate it, because it's like stepping into a Disney movie. It really is. It is beautiful. It really is.
Looking at that theater, you can tell that it inspired a lot of stuff that you see on Sci-Fi. Like, remember the old Sci-Fi channel? I'm thinking it's still out. Like, there was a TV show.
Yeah.
That was on there where, it was different topic and everything, but it was a government-owned town that was like full of top secret stuff in it.
Oh, but like, were you talking about Eureka?
Eureka, yeah. Now,
I love that program.
Now, when I see that photo and what you're saying there, that's what that reminds me of. I could almost bet Eureka was inspired by this.
100%, no doubt. Like, what I honestly, it kind of does remind me of that a little bit, yeah. Just anything that's like picturesque. It's got to be inspired by this in some way or another, because it's
Well,
just
especially being owned by Disney, and
yeah.
like CEOs and corporate people was living there. I guess you said.
Yeah, so it was more so there was meant to be a portion where there was like a part of the part of it was meant to be for like people who lived like who were coming in to visit from Cali and things like that, like CAC, like suits, businessmen, and all that kind of stuff. But the majority
Yeah.
of it was meant to be for like people who wanted, to live like a kind of like Disney kind of like lifestyle. So it's just, yeah. I'm just grabbing some more pictures of some of the houses, because these houses, Roger, are just, they're gorgeous. They
The
really are.
one that I see over to the side, man, it's kind of cool, and that was a question I was gonna want to ask you too. Like, the photo that I used as an example for making Cinderella Castle.
Yeah.
Now, those buildings that are running down the side where the trolley is supposed to be, okay, are those still standing there?
I think so. Yeah,
Or
I think so.
because I've seen other photos where it shows like a huge garden that runs down the way.
Yeah.
And in that one, I see these buildings, and those actually remind me of kind of, with the exception of the roofs
Yeah.
on some of them,
Yeah.
they kind of remind me of that.
Yeah. It's, and like I say, because it was designed by Disney Architectures, it's very heavily like Disney inspired. Like you can see that it was taking inspiration from the park and things like that. Like this Celebration theater, it over at Disneyland they have the Mickey's Runaway Railway, which is like a ride they have at Disney World and at Disneyland. But the one in Disneyland is in a place called Mickey's Toontown, and it looks exactly like that, like to a T. Obviously, it's been like Mickeyfied and Toonified and whatever to fit the area, but it looks pretty much spot on to that, and it's crazy.
Especially that second video you just showed me, the one with the cone roofs. That's definitely Mickey Mouse.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Absolutely,
That is pretty cool.
That is cool. Like I say, you can live in something like a Floridian like plant house, like mansion with like 2 fucking massive balconies, or you can live in a mini castle. Like that is the difference between, and not even that, but you've got like the apartments there and things like that, and the apartments are nice. Like apartments, I've watched a few videos. There's someone I follow. She's called Return to Sophie. She does like a lot of Disney content, but she lives in Celebration with her and her partner, and she does like house tours and like apartment tours in like Celebration, things like that. And they're beautiful. They really are. They're so pretty. Like it's just picturesque. It's just, how can somewhere be so nice to live at? Like look at. It's just it's beautiful. It really is. But yeah. It's just impressive. I mean, I think the next one I want to talk about really is, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. So there's a few places in Disney where you can, like, stepping away from the parks, you can just have there's 2 places where you can go and have, like, do a bit of shopping, do a little bit of, get something to eat, have a nice little thing away from the parks and whatnot. One of these places is Disney's Boardwalk. And I think I've got the picture here. Let me send that picture to you. You're just going to be bombarded with like loads of pictures of random places in Disney.
That's fine.
It's that one. It is. So that one there. This is Disney's Boardwalk. Now this is based on like 20th century kind of like like I want to say like 19th century, like 1930s, 1940s maybe.
Yeah,
Kind of like,
that's what I was thinking.
yeah, and it's called the Boardwalk. And honestly, this is, if you want a nice day to get away from the parks and just a nice evening, somewhere nice and quiet, this is the go-to place. It's never busy. From when I experienced it, we went a couple of times, but it was never busy. It's right on the water. It's behind Epcot. It's it's a good way to get between Epcot and Hollywood Studios if you really want to walk and do it that way. But it's just beautiful. This place is just honestly like one of the most nicest places I feel on property for like getting away from the hustle and bustle. And looking at the architecture and looking at, it just reminds me of like being at the seaside and just having that kind of like experience. It's very like, it's got a very like 1930s kind of like beach vibe to it. There's like ragtime music playing going on through like a guy on a piano playing, and it's very cool.
You know what it reminds me of? It might sound weird to you, but you remember Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
No, and the setup with Dirty Dancing is kind of like back in the 1930s. They used to have resorts set up to where families could go, and it was like a getaway for the family to go to these resorts and just relax as a family. And they do, it's kind of like a family oriented summer camp.
Yeah.
And they were all set up like that, and that's kind of what it looks like. That's the way a lot of them were built, with that kind of structure.
Yeah, I can see that, to be fair. Yeah, I can see that.
Now, are there really flying fish there?
Yes, maybe. No, I don't think there is. I think it's just a name. I think it's just a name of the place. I mean, I had you had to.
But, I mean, the sign is right there in my face. It's huge.
It's huge. It's flying right off the page. But no,
yeah,
I mean, cool. I wouldn't like to be smacked in the face by a fish. Don't think that's. There was one place that we went to when we was here. It was an ESPN sports bar. It was very nice.
Now, when you did your interview with me and Carl, isn't this the spot that you guys were talking about?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Like, you said they had, like, the best booze and stuff?
Yes, yeah. So one of these, I was too young to drink over there, but I went, but, like, closest to where the Epcot ball is, the Spaceship Earth there on the left-hand side. Its first thing here was an ESPN sports bar, but it's no longer there anymore. And then like 3 doors down, 4, I'm trying to think, it was somewhere around about here, was a brewery, like and they made their own beer there, but it was like really weird flavours. There was like a chocolate flavoured beer, there was like other bits and bobs, and it's very weird, very weird. But then there was some nice places. There was like some places here coming towards the middle. There's a couple of bars there, and then you go further round, like towards the back end of the boardwalk. There's a nightclub there called Jelly Rolls, and it's meant to be like one of the best places to like nightlife in like at Disney, like currently. Because they don't do it much in Disney Springs anymore. They used to have this whole place like specifically for dancing and things, and nightclubs in Disney Springs, when it used to be called Downtown Disney with on like Pleasure Island, but they don't have it anymore. So this is the only place. It's meant to be really good. So maybe
I have a feeling I know where you are going to be, because I've done those Friday fillings with Zach with you, and I've gotten a feel for what's going to happen when you get to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go to your favorite golf ball, and you are going to get drunk.
Hey, I'll drink around the world. That's fine. I'll do that.
Well, I can see this being, because I know you said that you really love this about this.
I do. I love this. I love this place. Like I say, it's just so tranquil. It's like transporting back in time. And the hotel, the Boardwalk Hotel, is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It really is just a gorgeous place to be. It's like, if I had to choose one of my favorite places, this is definitely like top 3. This is definitely like top 3 places to be on Disney property for me. Like 100%. Most definitely.
Now, will they let you go fishing off the balcony?
You can't go fishing off the balcony, but you can hire boats and stuff, and there's certain places you can fish. So I'm pretty sure one of the, I don't know if it would be that one. I don't know if there's any, I don't know if there's any fish in there, and B, in any body of water you're gonna have gators, so
Yeah.
you've got to be careful, because like you don't want to get your ankles chopped.
That's actually true. Now, is this part of the man-made lake that is around Cinderella Park, or is it separate?
This is separate, yeah. So the one near Magic Kingdom is the Seven Seas Lagoon. This one, I want to. It's not Echo Lake. I want to have a look now, because I don't know the name of it. I feel like I know. Let's see. Oh, Crescent Lake. Called Crescent Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's
So that's got all the wild terrain all around it and everything.
No, this is a man-made one as well. This is a man-made one as well. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think there's any actual thingy body of water, like natural bodies of water, because when Walt and Roy bought the land, like back in like the late 50s, early 60s, it was all swampland. So I don't know if there's actually any land, any like natural kind of like thingy water. I mean, there probably is, but yeah, it's called Crescent Lake. It's right behind Epcot. It's just beautiful. And then in Epcot, you've got Echo Lake, which then feeds into Crescent Lake. So it's kind of all stops there.
And see, like whenever I was doing the project for you, that's what the platform got me all curious about, was all those it was the man-made lakes, and then the underground tunnels. You know what I mean? Like that stuff just blows me away.
Yeah,
it really does.
It's impressive, man. Yeah, like those. The one reason why and I'll give you a little insight. The reason why they made those tunnels, the utilidors under Magic Kingdom, was purely for the fact that Walt said he doesn't want. So because in Disneyland it's a lot smaller. In Anaheim, obviously it's like right in the middle of Anaheim. And it's, things have been built around Disneyland over time as like years have progressed and things like that. Because Disneyland was built on like old orange groves and things like that. It was literally like just land. There was nothing around it. It was Disney that brought in the traffic and all that kind of stuff, like the tourism to Anaheim in that specific area. And there was one day in the park where Walt saw a cowboy, a cast member dressed as a cowboy, walking through Tomorrowland to get backstage. so he could like end his shift, go on his break or whatever. And he was like, the next park that we open is not going to have that. Like, we're going to have more access to backstage, and we're going to have tunnels under, so then people can, so people don't see this, because it breaks the illusion, it breaks the magic, it breaks the magic, as he said. Paraphrasing, of course. But then when Disney World was open, like Disney World was being built, the Magic Kingdom is, I want to say, 6 or 8 feet off the ground, like from like ground level. So it's built on these tunnels that run all the way through, like the whole of the Magic Kingdom, and every backstage like access gives them access to the utilidors. So then they can go down, put the costumes away, get changed, and there's stuff under there, like these cafeterias for the cast members. There's these toilets. There's storage for their stuff. There's all sorts. There's enough. It's wide enough to have like go-karts, like golf carts going down to and from one side of the park to the other. So then, like, if Mickey needs to be on the other side, if Mickey needs to be on the other side of the park, then he could just jet down and just get down there as quick as he can. It's just impressive. It really is. But those utilidors are like the hub for everything in the Magic Kingdom. Like, the trash cans have like a vacuum that sucks down into, recyclable trash cans and things like that. And it's just impressive. It really, really is how innovative it was, and even still is to this day. Like, it's impressive. Like, I've never seen any other park do this kind of thing, and it's impressive, man. It really is.
You keep taunting me, okay? Because like, you had to say cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that stuff. Now, that's the one thing that I've always been curious about. Was Westworld inspired by Disney World? And like, everything you just said right there, and then saying cowboy,
yeah,
made me think Westworld.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, there's just too many coincidences, is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it had to have been inspired off of Disney World, because like freaking there's just so many things about Disney World when you look at it, like the underground tunnels.
Yeah.
And that's how they did it in Westworld. They had the robots, which had, instead of like in Disney World, they got actual actors and stuff, and then they got some forms of robotics, but these were like robotics. Robots.
Yeah.
And they controlled all of that underground in these tunnels. So it's completely amazing how much Walt Disney influenced culture. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. Like, even to this day, like, we were talking about this, I think it was with Jason, Jeff and Steve on their channel, but we were saying, like, if Disney hadn't worked out and Mickey hadn't worked out, we wouldn't have had animation. We wouldn't have had, like, cartoon films. We wouldn't have had animated films. We wouldn't have had the parks. We wouldn't have had an icon as big as Mickey Mouse that children know from, like, even if they don't watch, like, the newest movies and everything like that, they're still going to know who Mickey Mouse is. They're still going to know who Elsa is and all that kind of stuff, and those big icons of Disney. And it's impressive to think of a world where it makes me curious, like, what would have happened if it didn't work out? Like, what would have done? But like you say, like, Disney have inspired so many things and so many people to create their own, to create their own interpretations of it and their own kind of like dystopian. Like say Westworld is a perfect example because, the way that they incorporated those kind of like ideas and all those kind of like inspiration from the Disney parks and made it their own, it is impressive. And another one as well that comes to mind, and it, is the first Shrek movie. Like that is clearly a rip-off of Disneyland, like in what's it called, Farquaad Lands. But like that's a complete rip-off. Like the little box where they're singing a mixtape of "It's a Small World," classic, absolute classic. But like,
well, that's Shrek for you though. Like I mean, and then that's their hallmark. If you pay attention to the show, I mean, like they're constantly ripping off ideas from different. It's weird how they do that, but I get where you. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, like
I picked up on that.
But yeah, like it's crazy to think, like it's insane. But yeah, it's cool to think. It's cool to know that Disney has inspired so many people, and it's loved by everyone. And people are finding something. Even if you're not the biggest Disney fan, you can always appreciate something that they've done in the past, and that they're doing today. Well,
even if you aren't a Disney fan, you were inspired by it because, like what you said about the underground tunnels, I'm sure Mr. Robot is going to be reassured and feeling a lot better now from what you said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we both know Mr. Robot, and he's Mr. Conspiracy Theories.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like I hear so much stuff about Disney World, and like most of it isn't really like the positive stuff. It's always like the conspiracy theories and stuff of that nature. So it's like whenever he actually heard a lot of the stuff that you've talked to him about, it was pretty reassuring for him. I think he really appreciates it a lot more than what he used to.
Yeah, no, and that's what we want. We want to get the message out. Like, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about Disney and all that kind of stuff, and there's always going to be because it's so massive. Like, no one knows the full story. Like,
and don't get me wrong either. Like with Westworld, I know there was a lot of graphic violence and stuff like that in the '70s version and stuff. And that's not. I'm talking about like the actual concept.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't think like the actual movie was all inspired by Disney.
Oh no. I mean, it took inspiration of most definitely from it. I mean, if you're doing something like that, it wouldn't be right not to, like,
Right.
I feel like it, because it's so massive and it's so popular, like it's hard not to take inspiration from something like that and like make it your own in a way. You can, some of the best people in the world copy, and it's kind of like it shows because it's always going to be someone before you who's done it, but you're going to make it better in a way.
Well, you have to also think too, like with what you've said to me about how they've gotten robotics for it and everything like that. I mean, it's kind of, there's no way that it wouldn't have been thought of. Somebody say, "Hey, hold up a minute,"
Oh yeah.
We need to make a movie about this. What would happen if, say, they put robots in to take the place of humans, and the robots just freak out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It would make sense that somebody would come up with that concept.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's probably come from, if obviously if they did take inspiration from Disney and all that kind of stuff, it would have come from the audio animatronics. Would be like, what would happen if they became sentient and they became real people? They weren't, they weren't just following a script and they were, you know, they wanted to get revenge or whatever. But like, I mean, you've always got to think of like the kind of stuff that like there's going to be inspiration from it, and it's definitely there with in terms of like Westworld and stuff like it. It's definitely there. But like, because I feel like Disney was so innovative and so off the cusp with like all like the new technology they've created, and you know, they specifically made technology for a specific ride, like the Star Tours, for example, was a pilot flight simulator that they modded. You know, the Indiana Jones ride in California was a Jeep that they added extra suspension to for hydraulics and all that kind of stuff. It's, you know, they're taking something, they're making it better, you know, and it's, you know, if you got to take inspiration from that. If that's something, you know, you're going to take the inspiration from the best thing that you know, or the thing that you know is doing well, and you're going to be like, yes, I'm going to put my own twist on this, and this is definitely going to be what I want it to. This is my telling of it. What would happen if, you know, it's always that, you know,
and you know, Disney, to be honest, is like the freaking huge testing ground. You know what I mean?
100%,
really,
100%.
It really is, because like, okay, well, like with NASA. Okay, now a lot of people don't realize that WD-40 came from NASA. M&Ms came from NASA.
Oh,
You know, duct tape came from NASA.
well,
You know, well, if that happened in NASA, well, of course, all these new things that are cropping up in technology would come out of Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you said, they were innovators. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, and they still are to this day. Like the newest ride they're working on, the Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the animatronics for that look beautiful. They really do. They're marking them as, I think this is the Mark IV animatronics. So it's like the fourth generation of animatronics that they've worked on, and they just look so good. They just look amazing. They really do. It's just impressive to see that even still, like, how many other years, like almost 70 years down the line that they've been doing this, they're still pushing the boundaries of like technology and be like, yes, we're still the top of our game and stuff like that. They've had a few flops over the years, like who doesn't, you know, but I feel like they've had those flops, and I feel like they're gonna come out on top even stronger with what they've got planned. We're waiting for D23. It's going to be in the next couple of months, and we're hoping for some massive announcements for like, this is what's happening, this is what you're going to get. This is going to be like insanely good for the parks. It's going to be insanely good for the community, and getting that flow back into, you know, what people want to see in the parks and stuff like that. And, you know, I hope it brings some fantastic, you know, new, exciting ideas.
Now, can I ask you something?
Of course you can.
What are the plans with Avatar?
For California?
Yeah. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so, I mean,
I know it's not Florida, but...
No, I mean, it's hard to say. So, with Disneyland, they are planning a new third gate called Disneyland Forward. They've been trying to get the planning permission for the past few months, I believe. And it's meant to be a third gate. Now, the wondering on where to put it, there's been speculations on where they're going to put it. They're either going to put it in Disneyland, on the opposite side of, I think Galaxy's Edge, I think they said. So like Galaxy's Edge is one side, and then they want to put, I think they want to put the Pandora on the other side. But again, it's either going to be in the Disneyland itself or in this Disneyland Forward that they're planning, which isn't going to be for another good few years. There's also speculation of what it's actually going to be. Like, they don't know whether Bob Iger's been set as going over it, saying it's an experience or it's a land. We're set to believe it's going to be an experience, which is more like a smaller, more compact land compared to what they've got at the Animal Kingdom, with that kind of stuff. But again, it depends on the land. It depends on what they're planning to do with it. And I think they've got a couple of. I think they've got a ride planned, more like the Navi River Journey, which is like a boat ride. But I don't know whether they've got that set in stone. I don't know what. It's up in the air at the minute of what's going to be happening with it, but we've heard it's going to be an experience rather than a land. But again, that could change with the plans and everything like that.
Yeah, that's one thing that have always been curious about, because I know they've been talking about it for years now.
Yeah,
so
honestly, it's been about 5 years. They brought it up. When was it? Was it the last D23 or was it the one before? I want to say it was the one before. I think it's been a good few years. I think it was 2020 they brought it up. They was like, yes, we're gonna, not 2020. Was it 2021? Yeah, 2021. I think it was like, yes, we're gonna bring Avatar to the West Coast. It's like, okay, when? Like,
it's well, I mean, what they've done so far is pretty cool. You know, I don't know how they're going to be able to put it in Los Angeles, to be honest, because I was down in Orange County
yeah,
for a while in my past life, you know.
Mhm.
I've seen what that park is. I mean, it's not as big as what everybody thinks it is, you know.
Oh no,
So,
it's tiny, and the reason why, and this is the big difference between Disney World and Disneyland that people don't understand. Disney World is for the tourists. That is what it was made for. It was made for people to access from, you know, like that is the place to go. You've got 4 parks, you've got 2 water parks, you've got an upteen amount of stuff to do on site. There's no reason for you ever to leave Disney World. Like, that was the whole when Michael Eisner was in charge back in, like, before he resigned in 2005. That was his goal. He was like, we're going to make hotels, we're going to make nightlife, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And that's what drove out the businesses on the route going into Disney. It just drove out all of the custom of like the business, everything like that, because everything was in Disney. If people go into Disney, they're going to Florida, they're going to Disney, they're going to Universal. They don't need to go anywhere else because they have everything they need. The difference between Disneyland is it's for the residents of California, it's for the residents of Anaheim, it's for the local. You know, it's smaller, but there's actually more to do in Anaheim than there is in Magic Kingdom of Disney World. There's more rides in Disneyland, and it's because they use the space more creatively because they have to. Like New Orleans Square, where Tiana's Bayou is going, at Disneyland, is the smallest area in that park, and it has 2 of the best rides in Disneyland. It has Pirate. In fact, no, it has 3. It's got Pirates, Haunted Mansion, and it's going to have Tiana's Bayou Adventure, because that's where Splash was. It was on like the back end. So it's going to have, it had 3 of the biggest rides in Disney history in, I think, what was it? 60 square feet, 60 square foot, something like that. It's very, very small, very, very small. But because the way they worked it, none of the rides were actually in Disneyland. It was all behind, like in a show building. It was technically like you weren't actually in the park at that point. Hence why the Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland has 2 drops, because you go down. One drop is to take you under the railroad, in at the front of the park, and then the second drop is to take you backstage to go into the show building. The only thing in the actual like ride of like what you see like in the park is the restaurant, the Blue Bayou restaurant. That's the only thing that's in the actual building that you enter in. The rest of it is in a show building behind. It's impressive.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's impressive how they use that land so creatively. But with Disney World, they don't have to, because they've got the land. In Disney World, they've only used 10% of the land that they own for everything that they've built so far. The amount of land that Walt and Roy bought before Walt passed was, I think, accrued up. I think in today's money was like probably just short of like 1.5 billion or something like that. Like in today's money.
Dang.
But like
Yeah.
they bought it on the cheap because they didn't use their real names. They were using like fake proprietors. They were using like fake contracts and things like that, because if they got air that Walt and Roy Disney were trying to buy land in Florida, they would have jacked up the price.
Yeah.
So when they use fake names, and then they landed down, it was like, right, this it was us. We did it. Huh, we bamboozled you. It was like, shit, we've just give Walt and Roy Disney fucking 900 hectares of land for like just short of 500k.
They didn't know what to do. That's
Nope.
probably why Florida gives them such a hard time to this day.
Yep. Exactly.
I'd almost guarantee you that's what it is, because in Florida, they do not like losing money.
No, absolutely not.
They do not like it.
No. And it was that was a big debate over the between a while ago. I don't know if I think it's stopped now, but a while ago it was like a hot topic. It was Bob Iger, the current CEO, and Rob DeSantis, like the governor of Florida, was like, they were fighting. They were like, I'm going to take you to court, blah blah blah, for, because they were saying, because of the sheer size of Disney, like Disney World is like the size of San Francisco, in California, and they were saying like, no, we own this land, like you don't own it. And it was like, no, but you still need to pay like taxes and things like that. I think it was something to do with taxes, and like government fees and stuff like that to keep it running. It was like, then Disney were like, no, because we own the land. We've owned the land for 50 years. We don't need to pay anything back. Like, you've not owned this land for over 5 decades. Like, this it doesn't count anymore. Like, we've paid our debt. Like, it's ours. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, see, I didn't know the whole story behind that. I remember hearing a lot of that. Well, not a lot
that's
of
the
it.
whole
But some of
story. I believe
Yeah.
there's something to do like that, but yeah, it's crazy.
it. And see, with that too, you also have to, and I hate bringing it up, but it really does have to do with politics, because
100%.
Disney World is really progressive.
Mhm.
The liberal progressive movement that's going on here in the United States. They're a big part of it.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, Florida isn't. Well, it's split down the middle. It's really a fine line with it between progressive and conservative. So,
Oh yeah.
but
yeah.
right at the moment, conservatives are the ones in charge.
Yeah.
So they They want to get their. It would, you could consider it as a political attack
Oh,
more
I mean,
than anything
100%. I
else.
mean, they did the, what was it, a couple of years ago? They passed the "Don't Say Gay" law, I believe, in Florida, where you're
Yeah,
not where and the LGBTQ plus community, then like people in like children in schools are not allowed to learn about that. They're not allowed to talk about the words. They're not allowed to say the word "gay" in
yeah,
Florida in schools and things like that. So Disney went hard with the Pride in June because June's Pride Month, and it was like, take that. If you want to be loud and proud, do it here. Like, we don't care. It's I mean, I don't know. It's all politics at the end of the day,
yeah.
in terms of like
Exactly.
the higher ups and the suits, and it's just it's
It's
not
it's
the
really it's really sad though. You know what I mean? That like that a place that has such a huge history is drug into that kind of a situation. You know,
yeah,
and it'd be nice not to say something. I guess it's best to be honest about it.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely,
I'm not one of those people that get drawn into that stuff. I actually have people that want to try to force me into it, and I was like, well, if it was in proper context
yeah,
and it had actual credibility historically
hmm
in the conversation, then maybe I would get involved with it. But I don't. I don't want to have anything to do with that kind of stuff if it's going to be just negative crosstalk where people are insulting one another,
no,
So,
that's it. It doesn't do anything. It just
right, it
makes
doesn't help.
no, it doesn't help.
It
It
doesn't
makes the
help.
situation worse, and then it just gets messy in
It,
hindsight.
what do they call it? Degenerate.
A degenerate, yeah, literally,
Yeah.
literally.
So,
But yeah, that's it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Politics is just that's why I don't follow it. I don't follow politics anywhere I go unless it actually affects me, and most of the time it doesn't. So, um,
what's the coolest thing that I heard so far from you and all your friends
mm.
is frickin' the butterbeer getting stuck in what's her face's mouth nose, dude. And I don't think she ever said though. Did she have to freaking pick her nose to pull it out, or
No. I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think it's more so. It's just because she probably just inhaled it and just snorted
oh
it
my
up.
god, that's horrible. That's worse than freaking picking your nose. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's yeah.
like
It's, no.
the way she described it, I was like, and that's like gonna be my picture every time because I'm gonna
Mhm.
think I never even knew that they had butter beer, much less when you drink it,
Mhm.
freaking butter builds up in your nostrils. That's just horrible.
Yeah, I mean it's a very acquired taste. It's like it's not for everyone unless you like very sweet things. It's not it's very sweet. It's cream soda, but it's like very sweet and with like a hint of butterscotch, and it's nice, but it's not all the time. Definitely not all the time drink. It's not the best for you. That's all.
Okay. Just remember, if you guys do another food episode, I need to freaking know that because I want to listen. I love hearing those two talk about freaking food, man. That
Yeah.
it just amazed me. I was in a trance the whole time they were talking.
No,
So,
man. I know. Disney food, man. It's just so good. It's I can't wait to actually like get some, 100%. But yeah, we've been going for about an hour and a half now, so I think it's a good time to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me, Roger. It's been amazing having you here. It's been a great episode. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Have you had a good time? Oh no.
I'm still here. It's just.
Oh. I thought you disappeared. I was like, what? I thought Discord broke. But yeah. I honestly thought it broke. I was like, what the hell's happened? I was checking my internet. I was like, no, it's still there. But yeah, no, it's been an amazing time. We've talked all things architecture. We've dug in some history. We've taught politics. We've covered it all. There's something for everyone here in this episode, I think. And that's just what you get with Roger. You just don't know where the conversation goes.
We even added in a little bit of porn too, so.
Exactly.
You want to hear a joke? No, don't. I'm not telling another joke. Last time I told you.
Sounded like the joke then. Do you want to know how I got these scars?
Do you remember the last joke I told you, don't you? About my cousin? Yeah, you don't. I don't need to be telling those jokes.
No. That's defo not for this podcast. Like,
and just so you know, man, I love you to death. Okay, so anytime you want me on your show, you just say the word, man. I'm like
100%.
freaking you're a legend in my book. So
same to you, man. Same to you. Just solid mate, 100%. Just a solid all round dude, 100%. And yeah. It's been awesome to have you on here, man. It really has. I'm so glad you decided to come on and everything and agreed and whatnot. And go check Roger out. Go and check him out. He's on every corner of the internet. So I'll put all of his links down below in the description, or whichever ones he wants to send me. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe here so you don't miss an episode. Turn that notification bell on. We're going to be starting actually, this episode comes out in May. So, this month we're starting a new series. So, very excited for that. Super looking forward to what you think about that. I'm super excited about it. And yeah, we're going to have a grand old time. We're going to have a super time. And I can't wait to share more episodes with you and all that kind of stuff. 25 episodes in, we're almost there. This podcast is almost as old as me. It's crazy. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me here today, guys, and be sure to go send Roger some love. Be sure to go check him out. He's got something for everyone, and he's just an awesome guy. He really is. And yeah, thank you so much, and we will catch you all in the next one. Till then, much love. Have a magical day.